Good morning, welcome to Wake Up Well. We are looking at blessed are those who are persecuted. Today's reading is from 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verses 9 to 10, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation. This is what Paul writes. Each time he said, "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So now I am glad to boast about my weakness, so that the power of Christ can work through me. That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults and hardship, persecutions and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong." The word grace here is a Greek word that refers to God freely extending himself to us, his favor, his kindness to us, because he longs to bless us as people and he longs to be near to us. Paul, the Apostle Paul, is very familiar with trials, with persecution and suffering. And in the previous chapter, Paul writes and talks about the many trials that he has faced, including imprisonment, being whipped and stoned, facing death many times, being threatened, and facing danger with the elements of the earth as well as from people. He's been beaten, he's been stoned, many things. But just before he wrote this passage that we are reading today, he was suffering from something that is so bad that he had asked God 3 times to take it away. Have you ever faced something where it's so bad that you have prayed, "God, I can't face this anymore. Please take it away. Please make it better." Or, "God, please turn this situation around because I cannot do this anymore." And we can learn from Paul, who has been through many trials and tribulations, a lot of suffering, that he has learned it is in that place of weakness that is when he sees God working powerfully through him. That's why he would rather boast about his weakness rather than any achievement or revelation that he may have received from God, because it is in that place of weakness that the power of God is working through him that brings greater glory to Jesus. That is when God's strength is truly outweigh our own strength. And in that place, he experiences God's loving kindness, his favor, his help, and his closeness to him. And it's often when we look back, isn't it, that we see God's faithfulness and goodness and kindness to us. It's often when we look back that we realize that we have grown in that season, or we have walked through. And sometimes we don't notice it ourselves, but it's others seeing our lives and watching us and see us go through difficult things and think, "How on earth did you ever manage to walk through that?" And it's because of God's grace. And often we can say, it is because of God's grace that I am able to walk through, because he has been close to me, he has been supporting me. I want to read today's verse in the Amplified version to you as the end of this morning's devotion. Here it is. "But he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you. My loving kindness, my mercy are more than enough, always available, regardless of the situation. For my power is being perfected and is completed and shows itself most effectively in your weakness. Therefore, I will at the more gladly boast in my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may completely enfold me and may dwell in me.'" So I just bless you, no matter what challenging thing that you are facing right now. And where you feel weak, I bless you to be strengthened by His word today. I bless you to experience His grace being sufficient to you. And I bless you to experience His power working through you to transform you, to enable you to walk through each day with His joy. And may your experience be a testimony to others that indeed your God is strong and that He will never forsake you or abandon you in the midst of trial because He loves you. Have a good day.